On top of that, it's generally not how they think.
Right.
You know? I mean, look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap. Just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. All the money, you got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that shit. Like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
I remember Iran Barkley was talking about that. Iran Barkley, when he was in his prime, was hanging out with all these professional athletes, and everybody was getting diamond-crusted chains and this and that, and he was keeping up with these people. Like, you got to keep up with the Joneses. And he just found himself, like, draining all of his money. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to...
Joe Rogan has pointed out that Floyd Mayweather accumulated enormous wealth during his career, but burned through it with reckless spending. He flaunted luxury cars, high-end watches, and massive collections, often overlooking taxes and acting as if the money would last forever, ultimately squandering close to $1 billion.
It's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know. He was talking about it like that was the biggest detriment to him being able to save any money.
Mm-hmm. They trying to keep up.
Yeah. Which I thought was funny when I was listening to this conversation with Chad Ochocinco. He was talking about it. He was like,
his jewelry fake.
Yeah, he was wearing fake jewelry.
But who would know?
What's that?
Who would know?
No
Chad
one know.
Ochocinco.
Exactly.
It's
fake
like when
jewelry,
they look at him, like
flying economy. He was sleeping at the stadium, like, so he didn't have to pay for an apartment. So smart.
Yeah.
So clever, you know. But that's a guy like.
Rogan also noted how Mayweather deliberately built his image around displaying extreme wealth, constantly showing off expensive jewelry and possessions to spark envy. Now, the downsides of that flashy lifestyle are plain for everyone to see.
Watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like fucking $5 million. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes.
Nicholas Irving has described Mayweather's daily routine as incredibly extravagant, claiming he burns through nearly $1 million a day on constant travel, casino visits, heavy gambling, and non-stop luxury living.
And you got gambling and all, of course, the gambling, you know, casinos and all that. He lives a very interesting lifestyle, very fast paced. I think the average person will have a hard time keeping up, but it's just the amount of it. You got the private jets, you got the cars. But no, he could easily spend a few, $500,000, $1 million plus in a day. Like, easy. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, $400 million in a fight, and you put into like a high escrow or something like that, yeah, you keep pulling in really good interest. But I don't know. I know the dude can spend a lot of money like it's nothing. Like $1 million, $2 million, $5 million for Floyd in a day or a week is like nothing.
Yeah, that's insanity. I mean, it would not surprise me if all of this is hyperbole. You know, I've always looked at Floyd as a very, very smart person, not just in the ring, but outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood. He was in show business.
Yep.
DJ Vlad shared a story from a prominent jeweler who suggested Mayweather could be in financial trouble after years of over-the-top spending on jewelry, watches, cars, and other high-end items.
I don't see Mayweather even doing any goofy shit like that.
But you would think that your investments would continue to grow,
right?
As long as you keep your spending under wraps. Like right now, like I could retire right now. This could be my last interview ever,
right?
And with my investments, I invested into a lot of great companies like Google and Amazon and Tesla over the years, and those companies have all grown and continue to grow, right? And I could actually borrow money against my stock portfolio without even selling my stocks.
Right.
So I assumed that Mayweather was in a similar spot because he made so much cash, and if you invested even in common stocks, you should do pretty well. But I mean, listen, Mayweather never flies commercial. He's only flying private.
So he doesn't own his own plane?
I don't think so. I've never seen a Mayweather plane, like a Drake plane. I've never seen that. Not to say that he doesn't. I don't know Mayweather.
Chael Sonnen explained that many boxers, including Mayweather, face financial decline after retirement. Once the spotlight fades and their prime years are over, the public interest and the money dries up.
Money? What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. Literally nobody. It's the same thing with boxing pay-per-view. Whatever boxing pay-per-view is the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time is just whoever put out the press release and lied more than the person before them. These have never been confirmed by leadership of a publicly traded company, who is the one that supplies the pay-per-view. It is illegal.
Whack 100, the music executive and manager, has claimed that Mayweather has dealt with money issues for about 20 years, adding that even $20 million might feel like being broke for someone accustomed to his level of wealth.
I know Floyd. I've talked to Floyd. I've asked him questions about this. And rule number one is, if Floyd ain't talking about it and Floyd ain't promoting it, then it's just talk.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes is still there, because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know, unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse the man of going broke. So maybe he's...
Irving went deeper, linking Mayweather's troubles to his long-term habit of excessive spending, not just on himself, but on his entire entourage. This included funding lavish group shopping trips, private jets for everyone, and even renting out entire movie theaters for private viewings. Those kinds of expenses could hit hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million in a single day.
If there's any legitimacy to that, like how on God's green earth could this man be broke?
His lifestyle. I've been around like hanging out for days, weeks. It's the lifestyle. Like when you got a 40-man entourage, you got other people, and you take everybody out, pay for everything, we shopping, the mall, going out to eat, renting out an entire movie theater. Yeah, just to go watch a movie at whatever time he wanted. It was like the theater was closed when we rolled up to the movie theater, and you know, you got the girls and all. Yeah, and you rent out a whole movie theater for 40, 50 plus people. I bet that bill can.
Beyond the spending, Irving highlighted a bigger problem. Mayweather put little effort into building solid, long-term investments. Instead of creating stable income streams for the future, he focused on enjoying the moment and the things he loved. Over time, this mix of non-stop luxury costs and limited financial planning created serious pressure on his fortune. It's a classic example of how even the biggest earners in sports can end up in a tough spot when immediate gratification trumps smart, sustainable planning. Mayweather's experience shows that glamorous, headline-grabbing choices can lead to real long-term risks.
And I say this because much of what we see, it's the show. He understood. He was in show business.
Yep.
When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a boxer that was doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was winning fights.
Mm-hmm.
But when he became Money Mayweather and changed that persona and put that marketing machine behind the I live this lavish lifestyle, that's when you started seeing him make these big money fights.
Yeah.
That's when it all changed for him.
Yep.
And that's not by accident. It's not by chance. This guy's not dumb. He's not a stupid guy whatsoever.
No. And I don't think, that's what I'm saying, I don't think he's broke. I think it's a lot of, to get eyes on.
WAC 100 defended Mayweather's decision to keep fighting exhibitions, arguing that if he can still step into the ring and pull in millions from one event, there's no reason to criticize it. Plenty of athletes return when their name still draws crowds, and boxing is one sport where legends can do exhibitions, grab global attention, and cash in big. If the opportunity to earn serious money exists, taking it is just smart business.
We got $200-300 million, man, to get in the ring with, we got $150 million to get in the ring with Mike Tyson on some exhibition shit. And then 6 months later, we got $300 million for you to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He look it up, he like, that's $450 million. Yeah. Sometimes you miss the light. But I can guarantee you, he ain't broke. He's making a lot of sound investments. You hear me, Cam Capone?
Yep.
This I know for a fact. He's making a lot of sound investments. And the investments I've seen being made ain't the investments of someone.
DJ Vlad echoed some of those rumors, recounting the jeweler's claim that Mayweather's extreme purchases, jewelry, watches, cars, and overall lifestyle had taken a heavy toll. Vlad suggested that better long-term investments could have preserved and grown his earnings. He also noted that if Mayweather Promotions had kept expanding, for example, by holding on to stars like Gervonta Davis, it could have become one of boxing's dominant promotional companies.
The guy told me that Mayweather is in financial problems.
See, here's the part about actually losing your money when you're on that level and you're, kind of like flossing, showing off. Nobody gives a shit. Like there's people actually praying for you to be broke. And then when you do go broke, that's what people are gonna say. Yeah. Oh, well, you should have invested better. Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna give him any loans. So now, we might see Mayweather doing.
People will give us some loans.
Maybe.
Listen, he's cozying up to Israel. That's
but
not
the
an
thing
accident.
about it is, he had Mayweather Promotions.
Yeah.
And he was hosting a big, he had Gervonta Davis under his cars. And so that's a like,
yeah, but
De La
look
Hoya
what happened
does.
to Gervonta.
Right.
Arrested,
so if you can sustain that, you don't ever have to box again. But now has to take fights because, when you floss like Mayweather, you can't go down.
Yeah.
You got to stay right there because people are going to beat any kind of chinks in your armor if you're not wearing 3 or 4 big $1 million diamond.
Boxing experts have heavily criticized the planned exhibition between Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson, calling it more about money than real competition. Tyson is well past his prime and unlikely to show the dominance he once had. If Mayweather wanted a true test against Tyson, the time was years ago when both were at their absolute best. The current timing points to an effort to cash in on their fame, legacies, and star power for huge paydays and attention.
Who looks at it now and says he's 50-0? a generation, the first generation of boxing fans who don't box. Tattoos all over. You will shoot somebody down for $1, right? You will play around and beat up a bum who's drunk out of his mind so you can put it on YouTube, right? But you won't put on the gloves. You won't go to a local gym and put on the gloves. And you have killed boxing. You have killed something that saved me from a life of being a victim. Okay? You have done it. And you have destroyed boxing in such a way, Floyd Mayweather fans and Floyd Mayweather. You have destroyed boxing in such...
While both are boxing icons, analysts warn that the fight will likely deliver more hype, nostalgia, and entertainment than actual high-level boxing skill or strategy. It's geared toward fans craving spectacle rather than a serious athletic contest, with the promotion clearly prioritizing revenue, publicity, and brand value over competitive integrity.
Mayweather would have lasted all of maybe a minute against a prime Mike Tyson. Okay? Against a prime Mike Tyson. But what Mike Tyson are we looking at today? We're looking at a very old man who has abused his body, who has bad knees, right? Who is a lot slower, okay? And after 2 rounds, he's done. He's an old man. Now, when you have a style like Mike Tyson, where everything you do, you being great, depends on speed because you're short. You understand? See, Mike Tyson could never do what you...
That said, some voices push back against the idea that Mayweather's return is purely financial. They argue that boxing isn't just a job for legends. It's a deep passion, a core part of who they are. The rush of the ring, the adrenaline, and the unique energy of competition can be just as powerful a draw as any paycheck. For Mayweather, facing someone like Tyson might be about recapturing that thrill, staying connected to the sport he loves, and engaging with fans, not only about the money.
Mayweather, one of the few names in boxing that still somehow matters because there are very few of them, comes out of retirement at 49 years old. We're assuming, right? Everyone's assuming he needs money, right? Nobody goes back into the game of possibly being hit and embarrassed in front of people simply because they love boxing a great deal at the age of 49.
He's probably incredibly confused why someone keeps selling his mortgages. He probably has a dozen homes. And 3 dozen different people holding his mortgages lately. That's why he's fighting.
It's the price of blow pops that has brought him back into
I'm sure all of it.
Fighting.
And he doesn't look, from where I was sitting over the last 20 years, didn't seem like he was like super fiscally responsible. This is the least surprising thing ever.
Well, you say it's the least surprising thing.
Ultimately, while the big paydays are real, the emotional and personal rewards of competing again can play a major role. Fans shouldn't automatically dismiss these comebacks as greedy. For many fighters, the pull of the sport itself remains strong long after retirement.
You say it's the least surprising thing ever, but can you, Jeremy, just look up for me, okay, the amount of earnings that we're talking about here? Because while, athletic money being blown is a bit of a cliche, there are very few athletes ever who have made the kind of money that Floyd Mayweather has made. And because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is, or has been, a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make...
That's the wrap up for today. Stay tuned for more.